Spiky Bits. Make sure you stay in the trenches. Help keep our channel ad-free by becoming a supporter over on Patreon and also scoring yourself some free miniature swag in the process. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out our site, spikybits.com, for all the hot hobby tutorials, news, rumors on all your favorite hobby topics. And head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.
What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Bear here today with a look at something revolutionary, never done before by Games Workshop. That's right, we have digital books from Forge World. Now, how cool is that? Now, granted, I was skeptical, but yeah, I was like, you know what? F it. Maybe they did a really good choice, because I don't like the enhanced version of the books because it almost like it hijacks your device and it makes you like look at it a certain way, and it just I prefer the EPUB. I'm a purist. I prefer the EPUB, but you know, I was like, you know what? I'll give them a chance. They're putting this out. They're going to try to, you know, help all those gamers out there that doesn't want to lug around a library's worth of books to play their Heresy games. So the first one they're doing is the Mechanicum Tagmata Army List, right? Well, looks like we reset right there. So they basically put it out, and it's, you know, the digital version of the hardcover book, which we've also reviewed already and haven't posted it up yet because it's been so crazy with so much other stuff on there. So, you know, we will get to that here soon. But what's cool about this one here is that it's basically the same version of that book that you're seeing right there next to me, the hardcover, the analog book, so to speak, right? It's basically that version, but in digital. But what's even better about it is it doesn't hijack your tablet or anything like that. You can view it either way, whatever way you want. Now, of course, it looks all wonky because, you know, I'm trying to keep it in the camera frame and not have a glare on it and things like that. Keep you from seeing I don't have pants on. I do have pants on, actually, but so, you know, it's a great look. It's very similar to what we've seen before with you know, all the Black Library ones. But you know, when it comes to those particular ones, you can see here, because remember we did the Black Legion one, which I actually don't have synced up anymore, but you can see it right there because it downloaded and it updated, which was really cool. And that's another reason I really like this book. It's $50 for the enhanced version. But hopefully if they ever update it again, you know, like they've already done once with the red books, I won't have to buy it again because it'll be already updatable. So when you start taking a look at it, it's got the same sections. Like that's the back view of this cover. So of the inset cover right there for the Tagmata book, right? And then you start looking at all the sections, you know, I mean, you can literally just kind of flip through it here, right? And kind of see that there's the Age of Darkness stuff. It doesn't have the table of contents, but once you get to the here. So right here in this section, you can see that it's basically all of this stuff, and then it gives you the clues on how to actually operate it. There's the Tagmata, the very first page, the introduction page, which we just went by, and then it gets into, you know, the actual history, which is right there. So it follows along very similar, and then you have all that, and you get into the actual start of the army list right there. And what I like about this, so now that we've established that it basically is very similar to this book, and you're not really losing any content, let's kind of zoom in on this and take a closer look at this version here. Okay, so I basically made it full screen size here, and that was one of the things I didn't like about the other enhanced version. It was that it wasn't full screen, and you were basically locked into doing it a certain way. So here's all your fluff and everything like that. It's all good to go. A nice stunning piece of the Lancer right there. Now this is where a functionality thing kind of comes into play, and it's not all in here. It is in here for a lot of the sections on, what is it, the force organizations and things like that. So that's really cool to see. And where you basically kind of mouse over it, and it's not really a mouse over, it's kind of like a pop-up, so it stays open from when you depress it, right? So then you've got all that, and basically the flow chart of how all the Mechanicus works. Okay, so then it gets into the actual sections here where they're talking about the army list, battles in the Age of Darkness, blah 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 blah. I like, this is the part right here that I like. This is where you can basically just, well, when your fingers aren't cold, I guess. You can click on these and it pops right up with what it is. Now, a lot of this stuff, like, first of all, attrition was something that was introduced in the first Horus Heresy book, and I guess that was, what, betrayal, and it was buried. You couldn't find it. Like, I was trying to figure out what it was for, a hot minute, and it took a while to find it. Finally, I did find it and figured out what it was, but that was just one of the things. So having all of those, basically the ability to see all of this stuff just by the press of a button, I think is amazing. Now, here's the Force Org stuff that I was telling you about, and hey, you want to see what the restrictions are? Boom, right there. There's your restrictions. So this book, I'm already impressed. I'm like, yo, this is dope. I can see all the special rules. It doesn't take over my iPad. I can take it with me. Now, personally, do I think that they will do all of, the 6 big Horus Heresy books that cost $100? No, I don't think they will. I think they will do all of the red books, however, the red reference books, because that's basically reference material that they can sell us twice, to be honest, and we all know how they feel about that. But maybe more importantly is, it feels like it doesn't take away from what they're doing, from the narrative they're doing with the Horus Heresy. Now, would we buy a book for a digital book for $100? I'm not even sure if we could swallow that pill, to be quite honest. I probably wouldn't. But I would definitely spend the $50 for an enhanced version of all these red books I can just take with me. And the best thing about Horus Heresy is it's like learning a new rule set. So there's so many different rules. But when you get to places in here like, first of all, yeah, so they show you like all the allies and how they work. See, this intro section, which would be in each one, because if they're using the red books, is pretty much amazing, right? And then it gets into cyberthology and how that works. What happens when they get away from control zones or whatever, and then it gets into the actual army lists themselves, and then it gets into the Magos Prime, and this is where this format really shines, because look at all those terms. Now, granted, a lot of them, like Melt-A-Gun, Graviton Gun is actually different in 30K, believe it or not, but, you want to know what it does? Boom, don't have cold fingers, and you just click on it, and there it is. And even if it's bigger, it scrolls right up and down. And not only that, but you can go to the index itself, which will pop in here. It'll make it bigger. You can get to the index from right over here and look at all this stuff. If you want to do flashcards, it does the flashcard thing, if you want to learn about all that stuff. So every rule is in here. It doesn't tell you, hey, go to, the 40K rule book to reference this. Every rule that I've clicked on is in here. And I mean, you can kind of tell just by this much worth of stuff that there's a lot of content in here. There's tank hunting, blind. Blind's a rule from the normal 40K book. It's in there. Stuff like that. Blast is a rule from the normal 40K book. It's in there. So pretty much this is an all-inclusive volume. If you're going to play Mechanicum, I can't think of anything better for you to buy. But hopefully, and this will help you, study up for the 40K itself, or excuse me, 30K itself for, playing 30K. So then it goes through all that, and it's all good in the hood. So then you got your whole different sections, on order reductors. This is great if you want to take Titans, and you want to battle with Titans in your games, because you got all the Titan rules right here that are easily found and referenced. And then, perhaps the best part is it's got the basic in Battles in the Age of Darkness core missions, which came in Book 1 Betrayal. So all those are in here. So those are easy to get to. So this is almost a reference for any 30K list, because it's got so much good material in it. Then you get to the War Gear and Special Rules, but it doesn't just stop there. It gets to the whole War Gear section itself, which is a lot of the same stuff that, you're going to find in 30K. And then there's also little helpful rules tables back here that you could take a screenshot and have them printed out, I suppose. They did that actually for book 4. They included these PDFs as a double-sided printout. They came with the book 4 collector's edition for Horus Heresy. So there's all your Titan weapons. So this would be a good reference card to have, a double-sided reference card to print out and have on the tabletop if you're playing a Titan battle. And then all of these rules right here, and then it gets into the actual rules themselves. So for $50, I think it's a good buy. Even if you don't play Mechanicum, but there's a lot of armies that can have Mechanicum components in it. So it's kind of like an ally kind of thing. I would love to see the next 2 Red books come out very soon in this format, because I feel like a lot of people will pick them up just because of the fact that you can just click on it and see what the rules do. Now, does that mean that you're not going to sell, that Forge World isn't going to sell those big $100 books? No. They're not going to put the stories, and they're not going to put all that stuff in here. They're just going to put, all of the intro stuff to make you kind of understand what's going on, where we're at, like, hey, here's a little bit of intro, but really it's 11 pages, and then it gets into actual rules right there. So I feel like 11 pages of actual content / fluff is not gonna, ruin anything from Forge World's point of view. So kudos to them for putting out this amazing product. It doesn't take over your iPad. You can, you can tilt it whatever way you want. You can view it whatever way you want. It's great material. It functions just the same as the normal, iBooks. Now, I downloaded the 40K rules sample. It does not work like this one. So whoever's making their stuff, keep making them like this. Don't make them like that Forge that rules book right there, because that thing was terrible. I tried. I was like, well, maybe they changed their format. They didn't change their format. It's terrible. It takes, it doesn't move, and it just does a whole bunch of stuff right there. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first look review of the new Mechanicum Red book on digital format, available right now from iTunes.